Hey Yetis, Mr. Smith here. It is time to talk about the 2022 Snowy Peaks Challenge. We'll talk about a couple other events coming up, Picture Day and Homecoming, but mainly what we're going to cover are all the details to make this year's Snowy Peaks Challenge the best one yet. Okay, so don't forget tomorrow morning pictures, 9 a.m. Just as a reminder, they're probably not going to let your child wear a hat, and so they're going to keep telling them to do their hair nice and dress up. So mom and dad love their school pictures for this year. If your child is a senior and they don't have a first hour, we've said that the senior pictures will start at 9:45, which is second period, or I guess tomorrow it's sixth period. And we'll take a group senior picture again at 9:45 tomorrow morning. So please make sure your senior is here by then. The homecoming dance, as I've put out before, is October 1st at Summit High School from 8 to 11 p.m. Every year we have some students who are kind of like, just not sure if I should go, or maybe I don't know my way around Summit High School. I've never gone there. Just know that we'll have Yeti staff on site to take pictures and to help our Yetis feel comfortable there. And that is for all students in grades 9 through 12. Okay, those are the students who are eligible to go to homecoming. All right, so Snowy Peaks Challenge, here we go. It's coming up 1 week from today, and we have added in an element in the spirit of Mr. Bachman. We are going to encourage our students to just go pedal. This was a phrase that Mr. Bachman loved and something he lived by, of just pedal. Go pedal. And so we will be adding in a bike ride, and then, as it always has been in previous years, we will have the option for students to go on a hike as well. But again, that's 1 week from today, September 22nd. All right, so what is this event for new Yeti and new Yeti families? The Snowy Peaks Challenge is it's a really purposeful event where we ask students to focus on character development, community, and nature all in one event, right? So building our character, we're setting intentions, we're setting goals that are going to be hard. We want students to challenge themselves and feel what it's like to, go through a little bit of a struggle and then achieve a goal. And that's a really important thing to us, is how do we develop some grit and how do we develop some determination to achieve goals? But most of all, we do that together as a community. It's not just about the hike or the bike. It's about doing things together. And obviously, it's out in nature. So it hits that touchstone that we have as well. Is this a mandatory student activity? Yes. Yes, it is. We are asking all students to participate. We are not asking every student to bike to the top of Vail Pass or anything like that. This is what we call a challenge by choice, which means each student, we understand there's different levels and different abilities. Each student should be setting a goal to challenge their own individual ability. So we call it a challenge by choice of how far they challenge themselves. All right. And then, yes, families are always welcome on everything we do here at Snowy Peaks. I told a parent this week, if you want to come in and sit in classes, come on in. We welcome our families to participate in everything that we do. And man, just looking at this picture, look at those young faces right there, how they grow up and grow up fast. That was just last year on the top of Quandary. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about the Snowy Peaks bike event, and then I'll talk about the Snowy Peaks hike event. All right, so here we go. For the Snowy Peaks bike event, everybody's going to meet here at Snowy Peaks. We're going to get ready, gear up, and then the first group is going to pedal out of here at 8:45. Okay, so we got about a half an hour to lay the groundwork to get ready. 8:45 that morning, the first group's going to go. Those are going to be the students who have set their goal to make it to the top of Vail Pass. All right. The second group is going to leave at 9 o'clock. Those are going to be the students whose goal is to get to the top, or get to Copper Mountain. And then the third group is going to leave at 9:15, and that's the group whose goal is to get it to Officers Gulch. Now, they can get to any of those checkpoints and decide to keep going, right? But we want to stagger out the groups and separate them out to make sure that we are promoting safety, okay? Please know that you do not need to own a bike to participate. We are borrowing bikes. A huge shout out to the Cycle Effect and to Christie Sports, who are going to help us with providing bikes to students who want one. And the only thing I would just encourage you, and I told the students, is you have to let us know, and you have to let us know as soon as possible so that we can get that bike lined up if you need one. All right. So what should students bring if they're going on the bike ride? There's a list right there. Sunscreen, sunglasses, bike if they have one, helmet if they have one. Okay. If they need to borrow either of those, again, tell us as soon as possible. Water, we will have water along the course, okay, but they can bring some of their own. Medication, specifically an EpiPen or an inhaler. If your child needs one of those, please make sure that they bring it. And then leave the speakers or things that play music or create distraction, leave those kind of things at home. And then bring your positive mental attitude. Okay, so safety, let's talk about that really quickly. We are going to have 3 check-ins as they go up, and each one of those are the student goals. So we'll have adults at each one of those check-ins. We'll have snacks available, water available, and sunscreen. Okay, so whenever they get to Officers Gulch, they'll stop, they'll say, hey, I made it here, and they'll eat a snack, drink some water, and be like, all right, I'm going to push on to Copper and see if I can make it there. All right, and so if they make it to Copper, same kind of thing, there'll be a check-in, and then they can make the decision whether or not they want to head all the way up to the top of Vail Pass. If they get to a checkpoint and they say, hey, made my goal, feel good about myself, and I'm going to hang, they'll hang at the checkpoint until we have a turnaround time for all students to head downhill down the bike path at 11 o'clock. Okay. All right. So second rule is students must be able to hear. They can wear one earphone, earbud, airbud, whatever they're calling them these days. They can wear one of them. All right. But they need to be able to hear somebody calling out that they're going to pass or hear something coming up from behind them or whatever it might be. Okay. Students must ride single file. Already I can see this. They're going to want to pedal next to each other and be 2 abreast, 3 abreast. But, you look at that picture, that bike path is not very wide, right? And if our students are riding 3 across and somebody comes from the other direction, we will have an unsafe situation. So please make sure your child knows they really need to follow the rules that we are laying out. Okay. And then the big one, this is not a race. Students should be exercising caution. There's going to be a lot of people on bikes on this bike path. We're all going to be looking out for each other. It's whenever we get the desire to go too fast down the hill or not stay safe that we're going to create problems. So we're going to have a great day outside doing something together. Racing could be for a different day. All right. There's a map of our path as we talked about, right? We've got Officers Gulch, we've got Copper Mountain, we've got Vail Pass. If you've never seen this bike path, it does not run on I-70 like this map might look like. It's actually across the river in this canyon next to I-70. Okay, so it's just bike path the whole way. Okay, so again, safety's paramount. All things safe first and foremost. Then it's a challenge by choice. Students should be setting their own goals. It's an emphasis on this word of challenge. Students should have their target or their goal in mind before they start. See if they can make it there and see if they can even make it further. And then we're asking all students to either make forward progress to the next checkpoint or if they have to go back to a checkpoint. And then we're all going to head downhill at our turnaround time at 11 o'clock. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the hike next. So the hike is going to be at Lily Pad Lake. This is an easier hike than we've done in years past for the challenge. And so we really have this goal that all students are going to make it up to the top of that hike. We have 3 staff members minimum going, and we're transporting our students by bus to that hike. And again, families are welcome. So to be prepared for the hike, sunscreen, again, EpiPen, medication, inhaler. Please maybe layer up. It might be chilly in the morning. Have a hat and have proper footwear with socks. Students should probably carry a backpack so they can put some things in, and if they want to. Lots of water, maybe not 50 ounces. That might be excessive. That was for our quandary hike last year. But snacks. And then this says they can bring a lunch. They can if they want, but they won't really need to. The activity will end before lunchtime. We'll actually have lunch back here at the school. This is a morning event this year. Okay. Hiking poles if they want them, but again, no speakers, no hammocks, no other distractions like that, and bring a positive mental attitude. So you can support the school and support us in a couple ways. First, you can volunteer. If you want to be a parent who just pulls up and sits in the shade and hands out some snacks and water at the checkpoints, perfect, right? If that's something you desire. The other way you can help us is by checking in with your Yeti, all right? And you can have a conversation about these 5 questions with your student. The first one is, did I fill out the form on Google that tells the school whether I'm hiking or I'm biking? Okay. And then I'm going to skip to the third question here, which is, okay, If I'm biking, did I tell the school that I need to borrow a bike? And did I tell them whether or not I need a helmet? If they have not told us that they need a bike or a helmet, we need that information by tomorrow. Otherwise, we probably won't have one for them on Thursday. Okay. What is the goal? What's their goal? What is their intention? Where are they trying to make it to? Have a conversation about pushing themselves, right? And all we ask is that students do their best. Have a plan for water, have a plan for snacks, and again, on the bike, we'll provide those things, and on the hike, we'll have some that students can grab and throw in their bags. And then, do they have a plan for medication, EpiPens, and asthma inhalers specifically, proper clothing, sunscreen, and shoes? And you can have that conversation with your Yeti. One other thing that you could talk about is, okay, if they are bringing their own bike, how are they getting their bike to school, right? Knowing they can't bring it on a school bus. And we will allow parents and students to bring bikes in. I don't care when you bring them in next week. We can store them here, and make sure that we are ready to go. Okay, but you can drop those bikes off. Wednesday's a great day to do it for sure. Okay. All right. So what are we doing after the hike? At 12 o'clock, we'll all be back at Snowy Peaks. We're going to fire up the grill. We'll have a cookout. We'll have food. We'll celebrate as a community. And again, families are welcome. Join us. Come get lunch. Even if you got to step away from work for a couple minutes to have lunch, you can. But, and I probably should mention, there's no expectation any of our families, miss work or do anything like that. But just know you're always invited, right? At 1 o'clock, we're going to shift gears. And then we are going to head out to the lake. And we're going to go out to the beach at Lake Dillon, kind of east of the football fields. And we're going to go out there. We're going to celebrate our day with a circle. We're going to have a little lesson about what it means to go pedal. Again, a mantra of Mr. Bachman's. And we'll have a really cool thing where we'll get to see our Yeti boat be launched from the Frisco Marina. And they're going to sail it right past us over there at that beach. And then at 2 o'clock, we'll head back into the school. We'll have one last class of the day. We'll have our Be Legendary class. Students will do their reflection, put some stuff into their portfolio about this event, and work on how do we use this event to set our intentions for the year. And then they'll be dismissed. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video. If you need to get a hold of me, if you have any questions on this event, there's my cell phone. As always, texting me is the best way to get a quicker response. You'll always get a response, but you'll get it quicker if you text me. And thanks for supporting us in all that we do. I think we have a pretty cool school that we get to do these sorts of things. And I think we do them intentionally to help our students build their character, build their community, engage in nature. And I just appreciate that you support what we do. And if I could ever be doing anything better, I'm open to that feedback too. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and have a good night. Bye-bye.